clouds coming up, pretty sunrise on the other side of the planet.
Starship is subsonic and is on target.
The crowd here reacting to that call out, letting us know that we are on target for this precise landing in the Indian Ocean. This will once again be a soft splashdown. We should get some pretty cool views from the recovery team who we chatted with earlier. They are standing by to receive this ship. Once again, this is the first flight of our completely redesigned Starship version 3.
Yeah, and if you remember the suborbital flights from a few years ago, this is very much the same regime that we're in here. So we're sub 15 kilometers, executing what we call the belly flip maneuver.
Yes, serial number 8, the first belly flop. I remember it well.
Yeah, you can see the aft flap there making minor corrections.
Starship is turning for final approach to landing site.
Look at that turn.
There we go. Minor corrections and a full turn.
Yeah, Starship doesn't fly like an airplane. It's a lot more like a skydiver. Full belly flop on the way down, using those flaps similar to arms to help change the path of the air over you. Coming up real soon. Again, going for landing burn, trying to light 2 of these Raptor sea level engines.
Landing burn startup.
Landing burn startup. 2 engines in. Successful flip. Buoy cam
Starship is landed.
testament.
Big shutdown.
As weird as it may sound to hear, but it is the truth.
Absolutely wild. Beginning of the show.
We're pretty hyped.
We guaranteed excitement at the beginning of the show, and I'd say Starship delivered.
Absolutely. An incredible day for Starship. That was the first flight of that completely redesigned vehicle. As you can tell, the teams are incredibly proud of what we just saw.
Yeah, V3 definitely showed up. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've pretty happy crowd in the control room behind me. I will say it's probably the most excited I've seen a lot of people in a really long time. On target landing. Wow. Actually, let's jump over. Hey Tyler, how's everyone holding up in Hawthorne?
We're having a great time, Dan. Thank you so much. That was another exciting Starship flight in the books, and we hope that you enjoyed those awesome Starlink views. So congratulations to the team at Starbase and everyone here and around the company. So many employees have contributed to the Starship program as we continue to iterate and make progress towards a multi-planetary future. So that wraps it up for us here in Hawthorne. Thank you guys for tuning in, and back to you, Dan.
All right, thanks. So just to recap, we lifted off right at the top of our window, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. We were able to see the booster light 33 of those Raptor engines get off the pad and ascent over the Gulf. Successful hot stage separation. Initially lit 6 of those Raptor engines, lost one of the RVACs on the way uphill, and then the booster didn't complete its full boost back. Its mission ended a little bit early, but landed in the clear area that we had set in advance. Once we were on orbit with ship, we were able to get through our payload deployment, 22 satellites, the 20 simulators, the 2 Dodger Dogs, which successfully turned on cameras. We'll see if we got any more views from those. So obviously stick around. skipped the Raptor relight, but made it through re-entry on target landing in the Indian Ocean. You saw those views. Starship made it. It's been a long time coming. We're really excited to see this vehicle fly, and there are several more on the way. So that's going to do it for me up here. Send it back down to Kate.
And as we see SpaceX starting to wrap up, we're going to start to close out our own broadcast here. But before we start to bring things down for the end of the broadcast, bringing back in Stephen Clark with Ars Technica, it was a very dynamic conclusion to this mission. You know, it seemed like things compared to Flight 11 were starting to veer off from what was expected, but teams were able to, as we saw by the fact that ship landed at the intended landing site, it was captured by the buoy cameras, which were, you know, positioned to film it, that SpaceX was able to route around a number of the hurdles that they came across. Your final thoughts on the mission now in the books?
Yeah, well, I think the team looks very happy there at SpaceX, so I think they're pleased with the outcome. The heat shield engineers, I think, certainly have to be very happy with the way the heat shield, the tiles performed. The video looked like I didn't see anything obvious of any damage to the heat shield or the flaps or anything like that, like we've seen on some previous missions. I also noticed that the drone camera showed the heat shield appearing black. The tiles were still black. They didn't have that orange rusty tint to them that we saw on a couple of flights last year. So that suggests to me that they've made some serious improvements and are on their way to having a workable heat shield. Whether having a heat shield that's rapidly reusable, different question. I think they won't have a really good idea of that until they get a ship back to the launch site and recover one of these vehicles intact. Still have work to do on Raptor 3, obviously. They lost a couple of engines, one on the booster, one on the ship on the way up. And the boost back burn had some issues on the booster, so they were not able to get a controlled return of splashdown of the super heavy booster. So I think that is work to do ahead for SpaceX. They did not get the Raptor relight, which likely means that the next flight will probably be suborbital. Don't know that for sure, but I know SpaceX and the FAA want to have that demonstration of relight in space. They've done it before with Raptor 2, but not with Raptor 3. And so I know they want to have that demonstration to make sure that the ship's not going to be stranded in orbit and become either a space debris risk to other objects in orbit, or to have an uncontrolled reentry and perhaps scatter debris over somewhere on Earth, worst case scenario over a populated area, which would be very bad. So I suspect the next flight will be eager to hear the announcement of what the next flight will look like, but I suspect it'll be another orbital flight. And if it is an orbital mission, want to hear the reasoning and rationale behind that, hopefully, of why they're feeling confident in going orbital, because that certainly hasn't been their practice up to now. So all in all, I think a pretty good outcome for the first flight of a brand new version, Starship version 3, but still things to work on. And I think, if they don't go orbital on the next flight, that does push out all these other milestones one more mission, which, depending on how long till they fly again, could be 1, 2, 3 months. We'll see. And that's, just time that's ticking away for some of the milestones, like the propellant transfer and things that they need to get working on for the lunar missions.
Yeah, and I suppose sort of a good news, bad news type of what we can expect from SpaceX. The good news is that they've started doing this new docu-series, which the first episode that they published about 25 minutes long and had a lot of detail and color, especially on some of the full duration hot fire tests with the super heavy booster that we saw in the 10 engine setup, and then when they did the 33 engine ignition, and gave a little bit more information as to what was happening at the moments when those tests didn't quite perform. as expected, a little bit of color into the ground side issues that they were running up against. So hopefully with episode 2, it will come A, in the not too distant future, and B, also offer more detail than perhaps we would be able to get in just a blog post or a series of tweets from the company. So that, put that in the good column, since that'll, for us visual storytellers, also offer some good material there. The downside, of course, is, and I would be very welcome to be proven wrong on this point, but SpaceX, without the prompting of NASA, historically has not held press conferences to detail what went right, what went wrong, answer reporter questions, and give us an opportunity to, beyond hearing from what they want to say in a pre-produced form, to be able to probe a little bit further and, get some more fine points sussed out from the company. And, the times where SpaceX is on the dais in a NASA setting, it's been within the context of, a Dragon mission going to the space station. And, SpaceX hasn't obviously put someone that's connected to the StarShip program on the dais before. So we just haven't had the venue where us in the journalism worlds can, really parse out what we need to in order to tell a fully rounded story of where the Starship program is. So again, I would love to be proven wrong by SpaceX, and for them to welcome in the press for some type of press conference, whether that's at Starbase and Hawthorne or here at the Kennedy Space Center, where have you. But I think that's, at least for now, a bit of a drawback, that we don't have a way to know what's up until they decide to put out something, and then we're limited to what they want to say.